Good morning, it's Trisha with Easy Emini Trade, and I want to go over the trades for Wednesday the 20th. I didn't do a video for Tuesday, but if you wanted to look in the morning on Tuesday and see if you can pick out the trades yourself, that would probably be good practice for you. But anyway, I will go over Wednesday the 20th. And reminder, the webinar is this evening at 8 p.m. There are still a few spots available, so if it's something that you're interested in, just go to the site www.easyemintrade.com and get the information. So this is the ES, and we actually took a trade here. Let me find out what time that was. I think it's 10:03 or thereabouts. 10:03, got filled on the next bar at 10:04, and we have a support area below us, so that's where our intention of getting was. Once I got first target, then moved my stop to my entry, and of course stopped out here. You don't have to move your stop to your entry if that doesn't fit your plan. I prefer it because I want to be profitable as soon as possible, and so it's either going to go or it's not. So at least I'm profitable on 1 or 2/3 if it does decide to bounce back. You can use a reference area. This was 1133, and this is an area that we were watching as a previous price area for support and resistance, looking back on other days. So that's where that came from. If you wanted to use something above that, you could. You would still likely have been stopped out on one of these bars. So again, totally up to you how you'd like to do that. Now, with that said, if you took this on the if you took that, excuse me, on the NQ, you would have gotten in here, just about the same exact time, 10:03, and you never had a pullback. So this was a setup that you could have taken on the NQ as well. There was no reason why I chose the ES over the NQ, absolutely none. So this obviously worked out much better, and we'll go over that in just a second, but it's the exact same time of entry. So stopped out at break even on my final contracts. Here was a setup, and this we took on the NQ, but I'll go over it here on the ES. This was, what time was that? That was at 11:02. And like I said, we actually took something on the NQ, so we weren't interested in this. But the setup is there. You have your close outside the channel, and you're under a price area that we had been watching. So perfect. You can enter in under this bar here. You're filled here, knowing the low of the previous day is right below you, and that would likely be your target. What we took was, we actually took this trade, which was a little bit earlier on the NQ at 10:24, and perfect setup under the low of the previous day outside the channel, and got our first target and moved my stop to my entry and stopped out here. This was the trade at 10:58 that we took here, so that's why we weren't interested in the one on the ES that set up a little after 11. We got in here under this bar. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger for you so you can see. There we go. I have no idea what that is. I couldn't get it removed. Somehow I put that 0.25 there, but anyway, got in here under this bar and worked out well. Got 2/3, first target, second target, and then the final third. Just trail stopped, and trail stopped out above this bar here. So we actually took 2 trades on the NQ, and the 1 trade on the ES in the morning. Then in the afternoon, we took this on the NQ, and what time was that? I think it was just around, it was 2:46. And this line here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me make it a little darker. That was pretty much my line in the sand for changing my bias. We had been looking short all day up until then, and I had said, okay, if we can get closed above this line here, then I'll be willing to take a long. And that's what happened. We closed above it here, was willing to enter in above this bar here, never filled, never traded up to the entry price. Then we are trading back under it and inside the channel, so I cancel my order. Tries again here, closes above that area, outside the channel, put my order in above this bar, gets filled on the next bar. We went sideways forever, going nowhere, and then finally it took off. Unfortunately, I was already gone for this move late in the day, but that's just the way it is. I had to leave for 3:30, so so I got out over here, still where it was, you know, the high for the day at that time. But unfortunately, did not get this move here. Hopefully, some of the people in the room stayed in at least till closer to 4. If I'm in something at 3:30 and I don't have anywhere to get to, then I don't mind hanging in there. But if I'm not in something at 3:30, I'm not going to take something. So nothing that I would be willing to do. If somebody is willing to trade after 3:30 or close to 3:30, they actually could have taken an entry here. Close outside the channel, you get filled on this bar, and then you have to sit through a little bit of this. Another option would be to get in here. So you had a couple other opportunities if you're still trading. So anyway, I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email, and I will see you tonight.